I'm a little late. Harrison Butker had a very controversial, very questionable commencement speech. Quite frankly, I heard the word misogyny. I figured I had to have an opinion on this.
You see how that's incredibly offensive? Yes, I do. That's why I said it.
So Harrison Butker gave a commencement speech to the graduates of Benedictine College. Benedictine College is a Catholic liberal arts school in Kansas. Harrison Butker did not go to Benedictine College. He went to Georgia Tech. But Harrison Butker is a very successful devout Catholic. So the college basically asked him to give this speech. Apparently he said some very questionable things. I have not listened to any pieces of this speech yet, so let's hop right in.
First reached out a couple of months ago. I had originally said no. You see, last year I gave the commencement address at my alma mater, Georgia Tech, and I felt that one graduation speech was more than enough, especially for someone who isn't a professional speaker. But of course, President Minist used his gift of persuasion and spoke to the many challenges you all faced throughout the COVID fiasco and how you missed out on so many milestones the rest of us older people have taken for granted. While COVID might have played a large role throughout your formative years, it is not unique. Bad policies and poor leadership have negatively impacted major life issues. Things like abortion, IVF, surrogacy, euthanasia, as well as a growing support for degenerate cultural values in media all stem from the pervasiveness of disorder.
Okay, I don't think he's gotten to the part that's supposedly controversial yet, but this is way more than you hear in a commencement speech already. We're only a minute 40 in. Yeah, you know what's funny? I would love to compare this speech with his Georgia Tech speech. I bet you at Georgia Tech, it was just the most whitewashed, generic congratulations. And this dude basically, he has all these beliefs as a devout Catholic, and Benedictine College basically said, hey, you can say whatever you want. Let this be your soapbox. And I can almost guarantee that's what this 20 minutes is gonna be. I'm not having an opinion on that, by the way. You can just tell. But he just dropped 6 political heaters in the first minute 40. Holy shit.
Our own nation is led by a man who publicly and proudly proclaims his Catholic faith, but at the same time is delusional enough to make the sign of the cross during a pro-abortion rally. He has been so vocal in his support for the murder of innocent babies that I'm sure to many people, it appears that you can be both Catholic and pro-choice. He is not alone. From the man behind the COVID lockdowns to the people pushing dangerous gender ideologies onto the youth of America, they all have a glaring thing in common. They are Catholic. This is an important reminder that being Catholic alone doesn't cut it. These are the sorts of things we are told in polite society to not bring up. You know, the difficult and unpleasant things. But if we are going to be men and women for this time in history, we need to stop pretending that the Church of Nice is a winning proposition.
All right, respectfully, everything that he said is pretty in line with being a devout Catholic, and he is speaking to a fully devout Catholic audience. So far, I'm gonna be honest, I don't really see how any of this is that bad. Now, if you're not a devout Catholic and you hear him talking about, abortion and political policies and how the president should do stuff better, from a non-religious lens, you could definitely disagree. But I mean, he's given a commencement speech to a Catholic school. So far, I don't see where this is that bad. It doesn't necessarily mean that I agree with him, but I don't see how it's that bad. But he's a devout Catholic giving a speech to a bunch of devout Catholics. This is what devout Catholics believe. I think that's the point he's making too. Like, Joe Biden's technically Catholic, but he's, at a pro-abortion rally. He's obviously not a devout Catholic, because a devout Catholic would never do that. But I see what he's saying.
For speaking my mind. I never envisioned myself nor wanted to have this sort of a platform, but God has given it to me, so I have no other choice but to embrace it and preach more hard truths about accepting your lane and staying in it. As members of the church founded by Jesus Christ, it is our duty and ultimately privilege to be authentically and unapologetically Catholic. Don't be mistaken, even within the church, people in polite Catholic circles will try to persuade you to remain silent. There even was an award-winning film called Silence, made by a fellow Catholic, wherein one of the main characters, a Jesuit priest, abandoned the church and as an apostate, when he died, is seen grasping a crucifix, quiet and unknown to anyone but God. As a friend of Benedictine College, His Excellency Bishop Robert Barron said in
Benedictine College. My bad, I mispronounced it the whole time. Yeah, I'm sure that 100 kids who went to Benedictine College are real pissed at me right now.
What the cultural elite want to see in Christianity: private, hidden away, and harmless.
Oh, God. Okay, I don't want to skip ahead and not give context. The last 9 minutes, since 2 minutes 45 seconds, were all about how bishops, priests, and the higher-ups in the Catholic community can be better. He basically made a point of saying we're never gonna advance as a Catholic society if we don't get our own house in order first, and he kind of talked about how we can all be better. That was the last 9 minutes. Nothing in there was really that controversial at all. But holy shit, I just listened to this. Whoa! I kind of understand the outlash now. Tell me if you just are hearing what I'm hearing.
For the ladies present today,
Right here.
congratulations
For the ladies present
on
today.
an amazing accomplishment. You should be proud of all that you have achieved to this point in your young lives. I want to speak directly to you briefly because I think it is you, the women, who have had the most diabolical lies told to you. How many of you are sitting here now about to cross this stage and are thinking about all the promotions and titles you are going to get in your career? Some of you may go on to lead successful careers in the world, but I would venture to guess that the majority of you are most excited about your marriage and the children you will bring into this world. I can tell you that my beautiful wife, Isabel, would be the first to say that her life truly started when she began living her vocation as a wife and as a mother. I'm on this stage today and able to be the man I am because I have a wife who leans into her vocation. I'm beyond blessed with the many talents God has given me.
Leans into her vocation. Oh my God. Leans into her vocation. He's saying he's the man he is today because his wife stays in the fucking house and raises the kids. This is the 1950s. Holy shit. He's not even close to done, by the way. Hold up.
But it cannot be overstated that all of my success is made possible because a girl I met in band class back in middle school
Nerd.
would convert to the faith, become my wife, and embrace one of the most important titles of all, homemaker.
He's unironically saying the shit that I say as an offensive joke. I say that shit to be a dick, to be offensive. I don't actually mean it. I say it to get a laugh on YouTube.com. Buddy is breaking down in tears thinking about how wholesome it is that his wife's a homemaker. Holy fuck. That's actually insane. I'm gonna backtrack a little bit now. This is what devout Catholics believe. So it's not like he's saying something radical to get a rise or he's trying to be controversial. He's a Catholic speaking to a room full of Catholics. It's in the Bible. But you gotta realize something. Half of that graduating class is very successful, now educated women who are graduating and getting their bachelor's degrees because they want to be something more than a homemaker. And you're sitting here telling them how amazing it is that women lead in. It is the women who have had the most diabolical lies told to them.
How many of you are sitting here now about to cross this stage?
And he's belittling the fact that many of them are sitting there getting excited about all the promotions and jobs they're getting when in reality, the most fulfilling thing that could happen to them is being a mother. Holy fuck. It's not an arguable debate because it's religion, okay? Like, let's just be real. There are many women who don't want to be mothers, just flat out don't want to be. There's some women who simply cannot get pregnant. There are some women who are mothers, but they have, horrible husbands / fathers. They're single mothers. This is not a blessing. It is not a blessing to be a single mother. I don't know who taught you that, but also, taking all of that aside, being a homemaker, you know how you can be a homemaker, by the way? Your husband's got to be rich. Duh. To be a homemaker, your husband must make enough money that you don't need a double parent income and that you can also raise a child on that said income. So your husband's gotta be making probably 80 grand, if not more, for that to be realistic. And then we're talking 120 grand for it to be very comfortable. Dad's not making 50 bands for mom to be a homemaker and raising a kid, if not more. I know that I'm literally preaching to the choir here because you can't argue religion, but this is very understandable. Controversial. I thought I was gonna come in here and he was gonna make like one little jab and people are gonna blow the fuck out of proportion. This dude's probably speaking to 5,000 girls who are getting a bachelor's and he's telling them that it's a diabolical lie that was told to them. What the fuck?
And are thinking about all the promotions and titles you are going to get in your career.
Said this shit.
Some of you may go on to lead successful careers in the world, but I would venture to guess that the majority of you are most excited about your marriage and the children you will bring into this world.
It's so ironic because a baby cries during this part of the speech. Listen, while he says this, listen.
Yes, that the majority of you are most excited about your marriage and the children you will bring into this world.
Did you really think this through, Butker? Like, I'm serious. I get it, you're a devout Catholic. I'm not shitting on your religion, okay? I grew up Irish Catholic. This has got nothing to do with religion. You realize that these students just spent $100,000 and 4 years of their lives getting bachelor's degrees. You're saying that you would venture to guess that a majority of them are most excited to be a mother? You are so wrong. There's no way. If they're excited to be a mother, why the fuck are they getting a bachelor's? Why are they at a Catholic liberal arts school? You think they got a degree in being a mother? You think she's got a bachelor's in motherhood? A minor in changing diapers? What the fuck? No, they're not most excited.
In the world, but I would venture to guess that the majority of you are most excited about your marriage and the children you will bring into this world.
No, buddy, they're most excited that they're graduating college. Holy shit, that's so tone deaf. This is what you call a pander fest, okay? If you went to the most racist group meeting in the world and you just started spouting off the worst shit ever, you'd probably get a standing ovation. That doesn't make it right. Boom, roasted.
I'm on this stage today and able to be the man I am because I have a wife who leans into her vocation.
She leans into her vocation.
I'm beyond blessed with the many talents God has given me, but it cannot be overstated that all of my success is made possible because a girl I met in band class back in middle school
decided she wanted to be the best homemaker ever.
Become my wife and embrace one of the most important titles of all, homemaker.
This motherfucker looked up like he was Martin Luther King Jr. saying that. I'm so proud of my wife. She has the best title ever. Homemaker. Don't tell me there's a standing ovation for that. That's a scary room. That's a room I don't want to be in. Oh, so Harrison Butker gets a standing O, but when I tell women to be homemakers, I get slapped in the face. Sick.
She's a primary educator to our children.
So his kids are homeschooled?
Ensures I never let football or my business become a distraction from that of a husband and father.
Okay, so I will say though, this is who I want as my kicker. This guy is delusional beyond belief. This guy won't miss next year. He's been one of the best kickers in the league for the last 3 years. I see now why. Buddy doesn't worry about shit. He's got D1 homemaker at home.
It is through our marriage that, Lord willing, we will both attain salvation. I say all of this to you because I have seen it firsthand, how much happier someone can be when they disregard the outside noise and move closer and closer to God's will in their life. Isabel's dream of having a career might not have come true, but if you asked her today if she has any regrets on her decision, she would laugh out loud without hesitation and say, heck no.
I assume he's talking about his wife. Isabel's dream of having a successful career did not come true, but she's super geeked up to be a wife. Why are you preaching this to kids who just spent 4 years in college? This is like the last people to say this to. You might say this to high school graduates. That kind of makes sense to me. Because, by the way, being a homemaker, incredibly difficult. Like, dude, you know how hard it is to raise a baby? You know how hard it is to keep an entire house in order? It's very difficult. I'm not pretending like that's not difficult. But to say that it's objectively better, it is objectively the correct vocation for women to a 4-year degree class. Oh, I just can't believe it. What does he think every graduating 21-year-old spent 4 years doing?
As a man who gets a lot of praise and has been given a platform to speak to audiences like this one today,
Good Lord.
I pray that I always use my voice for God and not for myself.
You're using it for
Everything I am
God.
saying
He
to you
definitely
is
agrees with
not
you.
from a place of wisdom, but rather a place of experience. I'm hopeful that these words will be seen as those from a man.
Yo, wait a second. There's a Gaslight 101 bar. Hold up. I want to hear him say that again.
Everything I am saying to you is not from a place of wisdom, but rather a place of experience.
Everything I am saying to you is not from a place of wisdom, but rather a place of experience. Okay, your girl starts an argument with you. She says, you always do this, you're the worst. You say, you start every single one of these fights and you know it. And she says, what are you talking about? You don't know that. You know what I say? I say, what I'm saying to you is not from a place of wisdom, but rather of experience.
I am hopeful that these words will be seen as those from a man not much older than you, who feels it is imperative that this class, this generation, and this time in our society must stop pretending that the things we see around us are normal.
Oh, God.
Heterodox ideas abound even within Catholic circles. For let's be honest,
Heterodox
there's nothing good about
ideas
playing God with
abound.
having children, whether that be your ideal number or the perfect time to conceive. No matter how you spin it, there is nothing natural about Catholic birth control. It is only in the past few years that I have grown encouraged to speak more boldly and directly, because as I mentioned earlier, I have leaned into my vocation as a husband and father and as a man. To the gentlemen here today, part of what plagues our society is this lie that has been told to you that men are not necessary in the home or in our communities. As men, we set the tone of the culture.
I've never heard that.
And when that is absent, disorder, dysfunction, and chaos set in. This absence of men in the home is what plays a large role in the violence we see all around the nation.
Yeah, like single motherhood.
Other countries do not have nearly the same absentee father rates as we find here in the US, and a correlation could be made.
Where on earth did you get that statistic? That is not even remotely true. If you compare us to Sweden, sure. You know what Sweden is composed of? 500,000 super rich people, all of the same ethnicity. Also, your numbers are so wrong. What countries whatever. I'm arguing with a fucking brick wall. Don't argue with a religious person. You will lose 9 times out of 9.
In their drastically lower violence rates as well.
Drastically lower violence rates? Buddy! Okay, it's so cherry-picked. Yeah, in Japan. You ever been to Africa? You ever been to a Slavic country? You ever been to anywhere in South America? What do you mean other? You're talking about literally like 6 countries. The Scandinavian countries and Japan, Canada, Australia, and some of Europe, not all of it. But you just...
Be unapologetic in your masculinity. Fighting against
hell yeah, though. Hell yeah, brother. Women, get your ass in the kitchen.
You might have a talent that
I run this shit. I set the culture.
Maybe
your best vocation is making the home. Harrison Butker said it at a commencement speech. I can say it now. It's cool. YouTube, look at me. YouTube.com, look at me. Okay, this is going to be a good video. People are going to like this. It's going to be a long-running video. The average view duration is going to be high, and the RPMs are going to be juicy. Harrison Butker was able to say this at a commencement speech. So if you demonetize me for this, you are taking a stance against masculinity.
You're honestly an idiot. I don't know what's wrong with you.
Speaker and an entrepreneur, something I never thought I'd be when I received my industrial engineering degree. The road ahead is bright. Things are changing, society is shifting, and people, young and old, are embracing tradition. Not only has it been my vocation that has helped me and those closest to me, but not surprising to many of you, should be my outspoken embrace of the traditional Latin Mass. I've been very vocal in my love and devotion to the TLM and its necessity for our lives.
Let's kind of wrap this up, right? Okay, let me give my personal full opinion first. Here's my personal full opinion. If you're a devout Catholic, this makes total sense. This is what devout Catholics believe. Harrison Butker is not a fair weather Catholic. He definitely believes it through and through. I don't think this speech was appropriate as a commencement speech, specifically as part about women's vocation as a homemaker. If you believe that women's vocation is best as a homemaker, that's the most fulfilling thing that they can do is motherhood, okay, I understand what you're saying. That's only possible if the dad's rich, number one. Many families in the United States are required to both work because they can't pay their bills. So that's kind of tone deaf. That's got nothing to do with religion. That's just economics. Number two, who are you talking to? Read the fucking room. If it's a high school graduation and high school students are considering being a homemaker, then maybe you persuade them. You're talking to 5,000 women who just spent 4 years of their life working their ass off for a bachelor's degree. The only reason you get a bachelor's degree is because you'd like to have a successful career. So calling that the most diabolical lie, thanks, bud. I'm fucking 4 years deep. I woke up to go to this 7 a.m. bullshit class for 4 months straight. You're gonna tell me it's the most diabolical lie ever told to me? I have to imagine that the women in this crowd didn't like that, but I really can't speak for them, so I don't know. That's just my opinion on it. And lastly, do I think there should be any repercussions? Should anything be done to Harrison Butker because of this? Absolutely not. Fuck no. He's a Catholic speaking to a crowd of Catholics. He should be able to say whatever he wants. Now, if people want to have their opinions on him, it changes their opinions on him. That's how the world works. There's nothing you can do about that. I have changed my opinion on him. Shit, I think he's a better kicker now. This guy's, he's not thinking about shit when he's up there, bro. He just pins that fucker. All right, so then Roger Goodell was asked about it, right? Here's what Roger Goodell explained. He explained that the league has a diversity of opinions. We have over 3,000 players. They have a diversity of opinions and thoughts just like America does. I think that's something that we treasure, and that's part of ultimately what makes us as a society better. I do. I fully agree with this, especially because it's religious. If Harrison Butker's just going up there being misogynist, it's one thing, but when you're clearly following religious doctrine and you're not literally intentionally harming anyone, right? Like you're not actually inciting harm. You just have a questionable belief. There's nothing wrong with that. You should be able to say what you want. And Mahomes says that he knows Harrison. I've known him for 7 years and I judge him by the character that he shows every single day. And that's a good person. That's someone who cares about the people around him, cares about his family, and wants to make a good impact in society. When you're in the locker room, there's a lot of people from a lot of different areas of life and they have a lot of different views on everything. We're not always gonna agree. I agree. I fully agree. I think all that makes a lot of sense. Take a look at some of the comments here. This was at a Catholic college, so it seems pretty appropriate for the crowd that he was addressing. I agree. He's entitled to his opinions and beliefs. True, but his opinion and beliefs are fucking stupid. You're gonna have a long life, buddy. Ed Sheeran's uglier brother. If you go through life feeling this way, you're gonna have a long ass life, dude. People are stupid. People have stupid beliefs. People have beliefs you don't agree with at all. It's gonna be a long road, buddy. To use a commencement speech to platform your own political agenda is wild. Buddy, he's a Catholic speaking at a Catholic school. I don't agree with this opinion at all. Bringing up IVF and abortion at a graduation, it's a staple of the Catholic Bible. It's obvious that he'd bring that up. 2 minutes in, I now understand where there has been a large backlash. He went way too far, like a football kicker is an expert on good public policy. Yeah, I did. I kind of agree with this. I think the fact that he brought in, the president and like the way that was handled, I just think is a little weird. I'm not really into politics. I couldn't really give a shit, but like, I kind of feel like that's how it should be. It does bug me when YouTubers, or really anyone with a platform, tries to influence other people's political beliefs. To talk about things that are Catholic, I understand that, but to insinuate how you should believe about something political, I think that's a little tone deaf. I kind of agree with this here. He said what every other Catholic with a platform was afraid to say. Yeah, that's probably true. Women who are stay-at-home moms finally got their appreciation speech. Yeah, I mean, that's the other end of the spectrum. It's like there are many women who are stay-at-home moms and they work harder than their husbands. There are many women who are stay-at-home moms and they love it. It just should be an option. It should, to say that that's the correct vocation, I don't agree with, but it's easy to say that women will get the most joy from being a mother, wife, and homemaker, but if you do not have the financial ability to do that, then you'll find very little joy in watching your kids be hungry or stressing about how you'll put gas in the car or keep a roof over your heads. This is basically the argument that I was making. It's like, cool, a lot of people want to be a stay-at-home mom. There's fucking bills you gotta get paid, buddy. We don't got NFL contracts. These are basic things that thousands of people worry about every single day. If you happen to be with a man that mistreats you, then being a subservient homemaker is not joyful and satisfying. That's exactly what I said too. User ZE8, you're spitting bars, buddy, although you're a giant pussy. You're gonna say something like that, you better put your name behind it, bro. I got my whole reputation on stake when I say shit like this. You're hiding behind user ZE8UJ. Ligma. Not my cup of tea at all, but as we all do in the US, he has the right to his beliefs and the right to say them. I agree. I've always thought that this is a really bad argument, by the way. Free speech, a Catholic speaking to a Catholic audience, if you don't like it, move on. I've always thought this argument's really bad. The if you don't like it, move on. Well, yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying, if you don't like it, move on, except millions of people saw this speech, and millions of people saw the guy say, hey, all you women who just got a bachelor's degree, what a diabolical lie you've been told. The most fulfilling thing you can do in your life is be a homemaker and have kids and give up on that successful career that you're dreaming about. You can't unhear those things. They don't unaffect your mental. So you can't just say, if you don't like it, move on. Like, it doesn't really work that way. People can debate this shit if they want. It's a very reasonable thing to say, hold up, we need to talk about this. So this is a shitty argument. This is for non-confrontational people to get a get out of jail free card. That's my opinion on that. As men, we set the tone of the culture, and when that is absent, disorder, dysfunction, and chaos set in. Gulp, women are setting the tone and culture in homes and businesses around the world, and in many cases that is a less violent and more compassionate setting, not chaos. Yeah, I kind of breezed by that one. He did say that, didn't he? He said, as men, we set the tone of the culture. Not really leaving any room for women to set the tone of the culture. It's so ironic because like a sentence like this is something that I would actually ironically start a Wheel of Mutt with. Like I would actually say something like, women step aside, the men are gonna set the tone. Place of experience makes millions of dollars playing football. I mean, his place of experience is that he's a devout Catholic. I don't think there should be any question about that. He clearly is practicing. Don't put your Catholic beliefs onto those who don't believe in Catholic ideologies. Rob, buddy, he's at a Catholic school. You're the one who clicked on the fucking video on YouTube. Some people are really stupid, bro. This is what I mean about the guy earlier. Ed Sheeran's talking about, this Ed Sheeran dude up here talking about people being stupid, bro. Just read the comment section on anything. You got people got full-blown opinions on shit that they didn't even look at, didn't even read, didn't even understand the context of. Here's another, if you don't like what he has to say, move on. That is just never how it's worked ever. People are gonna argue. You better be ready to argue. Why did they clap at his wife being a homemaker? That was the funniest part of the speech to me. Hold on, we're gonna end this video. I'm talking in circles. We're gonna end this video. Hold up. I need to hear him say homemaker and then start crying, and then everyone gives a standing O. We're ending it
I'm
with
beyond
this.
blessed with the many talents God has given me, but it cannot be overstated that all of my success is made possible because a girl I met in band class back in middle school.
Come on. Say the word. Say the line, Harrison.
Convert to the faith,
Say the line.
become my wife,
Say the
and
line.
embrace one of the most important titles of all, homemaker.
Thank you. Thank you. My wife raises our kids and cooks me dinner. Clean the house, bitch. Have a great day, gentlemen.